I'm Vivian Makin, co-creator of Phillyblast.com. I built Phillyblast to share photos and experiences of the 23 explosive demolitions I attended from 1997 to 2004. Vivian and I decided to modernize and relaunch Phillyblast to cover Martin Tower's demolition. I'm not originally from the Lehigh Valley, so I hadn't seen Martin Tower until 1999. That year I started working in Bethlehem and saw it from 378 during my daily commute. When I moved to the Lehigh Valley in 2007, the view of Martin Tower from afar helped me orient myself and learn my way around the valley. There was a time when I did not know Martin Tower's name, so I gave it a name of my own. I called it the Network 23 building, as it shared the distinctive cruciform shape with the Network 23 tower on the 1980s TV show Max Headroom, 20 Minutes into the Future. Martin Tower is my favorite Lehigh Valley landmark. I work as an architectural drafter, so I'm very attuned to building designs. Martin Tower's facade is different than the modern buildings I work on, but I always loved its clean lines and distinctive white columns. Its design takes me back to an era of prosperity and hope, a time when we were still excited about the future. The ultimate tragedy of Martin Tower's demolition lies in how unnecessary it is. The building is structurally sound and built to last a lot longer than the 47 short years that have passed since it opened its doors. Although retrofitting and renovating it would have been expensive, it would fit well with the trend of repurposing old buildings in the Lehigh Valley. I'm heartbroken about Martin Tower's impending demise. Implosions always excite me, but this one will bring more sadness than enthusiasm. The only other implosion that instilled such mixed emotions in me was Veterans Stadium in 2004. Saying goodbye to Martin Tower is like saying goodbye to an old friend.
I'm Vivian Makin, photographer and video producer for Phillyblast.com. Currently a mass transit driver in the Lehigh Valley, I have been driving past Martin Tower for years, watching the work progress on the demolition of its low-rise buildings. Regretfully, I hadn't started photographing the property until late 2018 when it became obvious, prior to formal announcements, that the tower was not going to be saved. Martin Tower, visible from Interstate 78 all the way up to East Allen Township and beyond, is like a beacon from near and far that gives perspective to the distance between towns. Unfortunately for Martin Tower, there were many strikes against its ability to be repurposed. Most people cite the asbestos, which has been fully removed as of 2017. Its biggest flaw was the cruciform floor plan, which maximizes window area. While providing impressive views of the valley for office use, it prevented the building from being reused for much else, especially residential units. Having been largely vacant since 1986, it was fairly obvious that companies were not interested in using its office space. Outdated, heat-sensitive elevators also required upgrades, adding more cost to saving the structure. Another large strike against it was the lack of a fire sprinkler system, meaning the tower was not compliant with building code unless costly upgrades were installed. Then on top of it all, nearly 15 years of pure neglect left the tower and its annex in unflattering disrepair. Personally, I don't know what to think. While I enjoy a good building demolition, it's a one-shot deal. The landscape of the historically infamous city of Bethlehem is going to change forever. Some people have told me that it serves Bethlehem Steel right to have their architectural icon torn down in the wake of corporate greed and mishandling workers' pensions. On social media, Andre Dorman commented, "The city's planners would have been much wiser to have exiled the tower's property owners for incompetence based on greed, rather than giving them permission to destroy the tower."
This one I always have with me because it's tiny and it fits in this pillowcase. So, as soon soon as I saw the chutes up, you knew they were gutting the inside of it. And that was it. That was the final straw. And they weren't going to do anything unless they had a plan, and the plan was to gut it so they could bring it down. And when they started knocking the buildings down, they were going that way. so they could start picking it apart and getting the metal out so they could recycle it. But like you knew it was going to happen. I mean, when they cleared out these buildings over here, it's like, all right, that's just phase one of the demo process. So, but I can remember when I was a kid, because I grew up right over this development over here. There used to be like a searchlight up on the top, and when it was foggy, and I don't know if it was something with the airport, but they would turn this searchlight on and it looked like a lighthouse. It was the coolest thing. It would be this big like bat signal, kind of like, that real slow would just kind of like shine out. So it was pretty cool.
Down in Southside Bethlehem, the remains of Bethlehem Steel's expansive property includes a museum, college campus, multiple music and entertainment venues, a casino, and an impressive catwalk which allows tourists to get up close to the remains of the foundry and dormant blast furnaces, closer than anybody would have ever thought many years ago. Construction began on Bethlehem Steel's new headquarters in 1969. Martin Tower opened 3 years later in 1972. Originally, a second twin tower was planned, thus why many locals refer to the property as Martin Towers. The towers were to be connected by a low-rise annex building which existed on the property from inception. The second tower was never built, and by the mid-1980s, the once prosperous Bethlehem Steel began going in the opposite direction. By 1986, Martin Tower was half vacant. Other companies such as Lutron and Dun & Bradstreet leased space in the tower in the years that followed. 2007, all the remaining tenants left the tower. The property remained largely untouched, and potential costs to bring it up to code stood in the way of revitalization. In 2015, zoning changes paved the way for redevelopment of the land and ultimately the demolition of Martin Tower and its outlying buildings. In early 2019, the city confirmed plans to redevelop the property into mixed-use residential, medical, and commercial. The future of the site now includes over 500 housing units, an hotel, doctor's offices, retail, and convenience store with gas station. The steel beam sculpture and its fountain will be relocated somewhere into the new construction. Several groups in the valley opposed plans to clear the site and replace the 21-story tower with new development. With no parties being interested in taking on the necessary upgrades to the building, and a floor plan that didn't divide well into housing units, it was inevitable that Martin Tower's days would be numbered. Controlled Demolition Incorporated of Phoenixville, Maryland received the contract to implode Martin Tower with demolition date of May 19, 2019.
1, 2, 1!